Hello trader, welcome to another weekly Forex forecast from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. In this weekly Forex forecast, I'm going to look at DXY, British Pound US Dollar, Euro Dollar, AUD USD, Dollar CAD, Gold, GBP JPY, and Dollar Yen. As with the ending of shutdown, we can expect increased volatility in the market. Past week was quite eventful, and we have seen that the market, if you look at the DXY, was significantly downside here. Now, with the new weekly opening, let's start with first of all DXY to see what kind of trading opportunity you might find on all the USD pairs, including gold. And we will be looking at in-depth analysis in all of them. Now, before I progress with this analysis, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet, for more updated education as well as analysis to access all of them that I'm posting every single day. That being said, let's begin with DXY. Okay, so let's first of all look at the bigger picture, looking at the monthly chart to see that overall direction in this market, and then we will be scale down to the lower time frame to see where we can find potential entry opportunity to see that overall direction in this market as well as the entry criteria. So looking at DXY to see the monthly perspective here, the market, this is the monthly price action, cross this monthly high here that we can see, and so far in the first 2 weeks the market has gone up and rejected back again, almost nearing to the monthly low. Now overall trend, if we look at this market long term, it's a bear market. This is the monthly impulse to that low, followed by a couple of months sideways market that you can see here. The market has crossed this high and then getting that rejection again back below. So from the monthly, this is a high liquidity, and also the market tested the monthly 10 EMA and then got that rejection back below. Therefore, the possibility here that from the technical point of view, DXY to drop down to this previous resistance, which is turning support or even breaking further below. Now, looking at the weekly chart, we can see there is a weekly pin, but previous weekly price action has crossed this very important resistance, penetrated back above, and then form a weekly pin bar here. Now this current weekly market structure, we can see there is a long wick at the bottom, and what we can see that overall market structure here in that zone is bearish. So therefore the possibility here that this market to potentially come back below to this support level is higher here. And if we look at the daily chart to see how the market is creating the structure, we can see that with this doji formation here, every day the market is maintaining this series of lower high with a daily doji here, followed by bearish candle. Last day of trading week also form a narrow doji. Now looking at the price action, the health of those candlestick pattern, we can see that the bigger red candle, smaller green candlestick pattern forming that, signaling potential stronger bearish pressure in that market. Therefore, in this instrument, expecting that the market to remain bearish, because what is going down is likely to go down. Therefore, this is a very important key support level, and highly likely that DXY may potentially drop. Now before it potentially drop, there is another very important price action here that we can see. Every single day the price was maintaining the series of lower high, and there is no day here in this whole move that has crossed the daily high. Therefore there isn't enough stronger liquidity grab in that market. So what we could see that with the market open initially could break this daily high, as there is a liquidity above those daily candlestick pattern that could bring that market drive back below to this support level. Now that could be the potential wave for this upcoming week that I'm expecting. What I think, DXY potentially to break this swing high and then continue to drop back below to this support level. And this is the potential wave. Of course, there could be very different price action in the real time, but this is my prediction here that DXY may potentially drop back down here. Now, depending on the market structure formation with the market open, also there will be quite a few updates that I'm posting every single day, guys. So make sure that you keep a notification pushed on so that you are notified as soon as I'm posting any analysis in that market. So now let's see that British pound US dollar to see what kind of market structure is forming on GBP USD. Looking at monthly perspective here on British pound US dollar, and we can see that like the DXY GBP USD just mirroring the DXY, and we can see the market has broken all this low, and as expected there is a rejection, as this is a very stronger bullish zone and the buyers has come. The market has pushed that back above here to create a potentially new higher high on the monthly perspective on GBP USD. Now looking at the weekly chart, that we can see from the weekly there was a weekly drop, back to back 2 weeks narrower doji formation here. Now that weekly 2 dojis, the market has crossed this low, created a rejection from this level, could push that market potentially back above here again for further bounce, as long-term trend here is bullish. Now looking at daily chart here on British pound US dollar, we can see that from the daily, this is a daily support level and the market is maintaining here a series of higher low. Therefore the potential here for this market on GBPUSD to bounce back above here to create a new higher high in that market. So looking at the intraday from the 4-hour chart here on British pound US dollar, we can see that here whenever the market was breaking below, there is a rejection with a long wick candlestick pattern formation, giving a high probability for GBPUSD to remain bullish, as it is grabbing the liquidity from this support level. Therefore we could see that GBPUSD to retest and then potentially continue to rise back here to create a new higher high. So this could be the potential wave on British pound US dollar. Looking at euro dollar to see what kind of price action it is forming. Now here is the monthly chart on euro dollar, which is also getting a rejection from this monthly low, and long-term trend on euro dollar, just a mirror of DXY. We can see that this is where if we invert the scale, we can see just same as the DXY, as euro dollar and DXY just mirror each other. So therefore we can see that monthly perspective on euro dollar showing a potentially reverse price action on DXY. Now the price has crossed this monthly low and getting the rejection back above here to create a new higher high in that market. Now if we look at the weekly chart on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly, this is weekly pin bar followed by the previous week form a bullish price action which has a long wick here. Now this week highly likely we could see a potential further upside here to fill that long wick at the top and even potentially to create a new higher high in that market. Now if we look at the daily chart here on euro dollar, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily impulse with a stronger move back to the upside here in that market. This is the daily bullish price action here with a narrower doji formation on the daily that we can see, expecting the market to retest and then potentially to revert back again to create a new higher high in that market. So therefore on the lower time frame, we might see initial pullback below to this previous resistance, which is turning support here and with that resistance turn support, giving a possibility for euro dollar to bounce back here to create a new higher high in that market. So therefore any pullback below can give us a potential entry opportunity on euro dollar. Looking at AUD USD, looking at the monthly chart to see that what kind of price action it is forming on the monthly on AUD USD. So far we can see that the market, after the previous monthly long wick rejection, this month the price has tested this lower shadow of this monthly support and has got bounced back to the upside, which is giving a possibility for this market to bounce back again to the upside. Now looking at weekly perspective here, this is the weekly price action on AUD USD with a weekly close the previous week long week. This week has shown initial break to the upside with a long week at the top. Now as the market is maintaining that series of higher low, expecting that AUD USD to retest and then go ahead and fill that long wick at the top. Now looking at daily chart on AUD USD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily doji here, and with the daily doji, what we can expect the market to go ahead and fill that long wick at the top and to create a new higher high in that market. So looking at the 4-hour or the intraday perspective here on AUD USD, we can see that there is an inverted head and shoulder pattern here, and any pullback below can be a potential opportunity here to go long on AUD USD, and this could be the potential wave on AUD USD in this upcoming week. Now looking at gold, now gold was pretty eventful past week. You guys have seen that Friday was a big day. There was a massive breakdown here and we had quite a few successful trade in that move. Now what we can see that gold from the monthly, it's a historically bull market, and we saw that there was a, if you look at this level here in that area, there is an inverted head and shoulder and complete breakout from that inverted head and shoulder with a stronger bullish price action continuation here on the monthly on gold. And with that move that we can see, it's a big move followed by back-to-back 3 months doji pattern formation here with a stronger momentum here. Now the previous monthly candle has a long wick at the top. Now this month we can see that the market has tested the lower shadow of this lower body of this previous monthly candle, and as expected, as it is a long-term bull market, the bullish reaction is expected. And in the first 2 weeks that we can see, the market is showing that potentially further upside here in that market. Already the market has created this monthly high here. Now on a pullback on the weekly, if we look at that, there is a weekly candle close to it, leaving it a long wick at the top. Now this weekly price action that we can see, the candle close with a pretty big long wick at the top. How we can see the upcoming week is what I think the market potentially to fill that weekly long wick here, as there is a big weekly impulse pullback with a weekly doji, which is a slowdown of this pullback, starting a new bull move that could potentially bring a new higher high in that market. So that's what if you look at the daily chart that you can see on XAUUSD, this is the daily impulse that you can see to the upside, followed by a pullback again with a rejection from this higher price of this price action. And last day of trading week, Friday daily candle was pretty important because that daily price action that you can see has a straight drop back to this order block here, and that's where they're expecting the market to potentially reject back again to the upside, as the market has a straight drop to that order block. So therefore we can expect a potentially equal high or a new higher high in that market. So looking at the very lower time frame, I was looking at the 1 hour chart here, as this drop here that you can see is a straight drop to this order block, followed by last session past week, we saw that there was a rejection and we are on a trade here. You guys have seen that during the live session is still on. And what I think here, gold, we can expect this market to potentially to reject back again to the upside to this key level. And that's where looking at potential entry opportunity in this market. So this could be the potential wave. And as gold is long-term bull, we are always in the bullish side unless we see a big gap open and breaking this support level, which is less likely to happen. So with the market open, we'll be waiting for a rejection of this structure here. That means once the market managed to break out, we can expect a lower time frame retest of this bull flag as this resistance turning support, and we can look at entry opportunity for this possible bounce back to the upside on gold. Now looking at dollar yen, again looking at the monthly chart to see that overall direction in this market. Now looking at monthly on dollar yen, the previous monthly candlestick pattern is a monthly stronger bullish price action, followed by we can see there is a monthly narrower doji, and that monthly doji is showing up that the market may potentially remain bullish here to create a new higher high. So looking at the weekly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly perspective, it is a bull market. Though we are expecting initial downside on DXY as due to the weakness on yen, dollar yen could remain still bullish as long-term trend here is bullish. And from the weekly, we can see that every single week dollar yen is maintaining that series of higher low, and we could see the price to continue to rise back here to create a new higher high in that market. Now looking at daily chart here on dollar yen, we can see that there is a daily doji in that area, and with this daily doji, if we look at, that's a very important support level here on dollar yen from the daily. And with this big long wick doji here, that we might see initial pullback and then continuation back here to create a new higher high in that market. So looking at the 4-hour chart here on dollar yen from the intraday perspective, here is the support test, and we saw there is a rejection, expecting a little downside here for this correction here, and then continuation back here to create a new higher high in that market. So this could be the potential trend continuation pattern here on dollar yen, and this is where you can look for with a stronger rejection to trade this head and shoulder to the upside for this potential move back. Now GBP JPY, looking at monthly again on GBP JPY, that you can see now GJ is long-term bull market, that you can see as well. The previous monthly price action has a pretty long wick at the top here on GJ, and this month that we can see also form a long wick and expecting the market to continue to rise here to create a new higher high. Now looking at the weekly chart on GBP JPY, that you can see the previous week there is a long wick doji here, and that long wick doji has given momentum for this week, that you can see a weekly bullish price action here formation, and that is where this week they're expecting GJ potentially to continue to rise to create a new higher high in that market. So looking at daily chart on GJ, that you can see this is a long week also candlestick pattern formation, that's showing that GBP JPY getting a stronger rejection, as we can see that with this order block formation here, the market has made its move back to the upside, pull back, and last day of trading week also there is a bullish, that means buying pressure in that area on GJ, giving a possibility here for this market to continue to rise here to create a new higher high in that market. So this is where we are looking at that initial pullback below here, and then to revert back again to create a new higher high in that market. This is where looking at GJ to give us an entry opportunity, and as soon as we find suitable entry, we'll be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Traders, I hope that you enjoyed this education and analysis. For more updated education as well as analysis, also join the Telegram. You can find link below this video for regular updates as well as promotions that we are posting every day. That being said, thank you for joining here. Now see you again very soon with any new update or analysis.